Welcome back to the Portuguese Women in Tech podcast, part of the special series where we are celebrating International Women's Day and is brought to you by Natixis in Portugal. My name is Inês. I'm one of the co-founders of Portuguese Women in Tech. In this series, we are shedding a light on women in leadership who are not only building impactful careers, but also empowering others, embracing change and navigating challenges with resilience and curiosity. Today, we are joined by Isabel Duarte, Salesforce team manager at Natixis in Portugal. With more than a decade of experience in Salesforce technology, Isabel has grown from business analyst to team lead to manager, today leading a team of 40 people. She's also passionate about giving back through initiatives like Salesforce for Good and is a strong believer in the power of learning, communication, emotional intelligence, and leadership. Isabel, thank you very much for accepting our invitation and for being here.
Thank you for the invitation.
I would like to learn a little bit more about your path, right? So you start your career in international trade, very different from Salesforce and what you are doing right now. Um, what has sparked your interest to stay in tech, where everything started, and why you decide to pursue a career in technology?
Well, if I describe a little bit my path, I began my professional journey in Paris, where I was born and raised. And it was my interest in management that led me to pursue my master's degree in international trade and management that I completed in 2012 after graduating in economics. And during my apprenticeship, I had the opportunity to enter in the consultancy field as a PMO for a major client in the energy and utilities sector. And it was this role that marked my very first exposure to IT, which was a field that I hadn't initially believed I would be joining, but had become a significant part of my career. And as you were saying, over the years, I developed my career in consultancy, taking on various roles that you described: business analyst, proxy product owner, team lead, until manager. And I would say that the this decade in consultancy allowed me to faced numerous challenges, but it was also opportunities for professional growth. However, my life has taken a turn that was not expected. I had a personal challenge to tackle, which was a breast tumor diagnosis, and this life event forced me to pause and reflect. And as I took some time away from work, I realized the importance of family and the support that they can provide. So this moment of clarity in my life triggered necessity for change, and I took the decision to move to Portugal to be closer to my family. That's how I joined 2 years ago Natixis as team manager of the Salesforce factory. And to better answer your question about what sparked me interest in IT, I would say that it's the fact that there is continuous innovation and always opportunities to learn in this industry.
You also mentioned that you are now a manager. You are also leading a big team. Have been the most rewarding parts of this role, and what have been also the challenges of the role?
Well, I would say that the most rewarding part is to observe and witness how so many talented people can come along together to achieve common goals. And it's rewarding to know that I play a role in creating an environment where they can thrive. For example, when I arrived 2 years ago, we were about 20 in the team, and today we are around 40. So we created plenty opportunities for them to grow and to evolve. And I would say that the flip side is that with this size of a team, it presents some challenges, especially in the communication part, because as a manager, I have to ensure proper communication and alignment among the 40 members of the team to ensure that everybody is on the same page.
Yeah, and that can be a challenge, especially like as with a team that grows so fast, right? You went from
Yeah.
20 to 40 in less than 2 years, right? So it's a big challenge. And something that we mentioned, we'll talk a little bit more about communication and curiosity later, but you also mentioned to me that, and as part of your team, you also do some like Salesforce for Good initiatives. Can you share a little bit with us, like how those work?
Yes. So I had the opportunity in the past in my previous company to provide some support for nonprofit organizations that were using Salesforce. And for me, it was something really meaningful. And I have the opportunity with my team to continue in this kind of initiative through Association Salvador. So we have a few team members that are helping them in the maintenance of their Salesforce application. So for me, it's something that is really important. It was already important in the past because we can, for sure, in our daily tasks, we are delivering value to business. But with initiatives like that, we are leveraging on technology to create a social impact. So it's different.
Yeah, makes sense. So going back now to the communication side of things. So you have shared the importance of curiosity, communication, emotional intelligence in leadership. And in your case, how are you developing those skills? How have you developed those skills before? And also, how are you helping your team develop those skills?
Well, first of all, I have regular check-ins, one-to-one check-ins with them to understand their perspectives, their needs, and to ensure that I'm answering properly to them. I'm very supportive that they participate in trainings, webinars, workshops, or conferences. For example, lately we had two senior developers in my team that had the opportunity to participate in a huge event, Salesforce event in San Francisco around topics of artificial intelligence. So I really encourage them to take any opportunity to keep learning and to keep growing. On my side, I still continue to have training for sure because it's important to keep learning. And I'm participating in a 9 months training with Natixis, which is a leadership program. And one of the main goals of this program is to know better ourselves and to identify what is our leadership style.
In that case, like with that program specifically, um, what like you mentioned, like it's about like getting to know yourself, identify your leadership style. How is that already impacting you on your day to day?
Um, well, it's regarding this program. It's a really nice program because it's a mix of theory with master classes, but also we have co-development sessions where we can bring some problem and in small groups try to find a solution to our problem. So I would say that it's providing some resources to tackle some problem differently.
Yeah, yeah. I think like leadership is like so it's a big word, right? So a lot of things are there, and I think you mentioned like communication, emotional intelligence, and I think like it's hard. Sometimes it's hard. Like what are the leadership skills, right? It's hard to develop those, but I think like programs like this for sure help you understand better how to approach leadership and how to make big small changes and things that can be important. I think something also about tech is like things change all the time, right? So on one hand, technology is always evolving. The feel like right now there's like a big buzz around AI and everything that's happening. Um, and you said that sometimes like changes can be scary, but also they are also necessary, right? So how do you stay resilient and open when stepping outside of your comfort zone?
So yes, for sure, change can be scary. My path has shown that I had to make change multiple times, changing roles, changing clients,
Countries.
country. Yeah. So it can be scary, but I think we should embrace growth as an opportunity to expand our capabilities. And what can help us to have the right mindset is to have a supportive environment, to identify colleagues or mentors that can help us to see things in a different perspective. Um, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think the importance of surround yourself with people that can help you, because I think sometimes, I'm not sure about you, but I think sometimes we feel like we are the only ones with a specific problem.
Yeah.
But then we talk with someone next to us, and actually they are facing or have faced the same problem, right? So how do you think like about this? Are you actively looking for people with who you can share these kind of things? I know that the program that you are doing, a leadership program, has a strong component on that. How do you see that happening?
Yeah. Being a manager can be a very lonely job sometimes. So it's important to be surrounded by other managers and expand our network, identify some role models. Because as I was saying earlier, the fact that we have another manager that we can discuss about a problem or a challenge that we face, it can allow us to have a different perspective on the problem. And maybe next time when I have again a similar problem, I will tackle it differently because I had this exchange with my colleague and I will remember about it.
Makes sense. Yeah, in our conversation before, you told me that you are a fan of Brené Brown, right? The books, and she speaks a lot about vulnerability and courage. Are there any lessons from her or from her books that influence your leadership style?
Yes, I will focus on her because, in fact, very early I was a big fan of her. Um, the inspiring topics that she's sharing about. The first one, I would say that vulnerability is not a weakness, it's a strength. And I feel strong today to share my full story because I'm not sure everybody is aware of it. So this is the one of the first lessons that I kept in mind. The second one would be about building strong connections and strong relationships, and it's something that as a manager I try as much as possible to do with my team because I'm convinced that it will enhance productivity within the team. And yeah, I don't have any other coming to my mind. I would say that's the two big ones.
Yeah, but I think those are important ones,
Yeah.
right? I think like a lot of the times we feel like we have to hide and we cannot be vulnerable. But I think like there's a lot of value in sharing our stories and sharing what you're thinking and how we are experiencing things. So I think that's super important. And also I think the importance of making connections, right? And I wanted to ask you, because we have a lot of people that will be listening to this that are basically either about to enter the job market. Maybe we can have three profiles, like about to enter the job market, people that are maybe like even like transitioning career, right? And because you didn't transition career, but at the same time you started very different from tech, right? So your basically your curiosity and your openness actually led you to this path. But there are a lot of people also transitioning career, and then there are people that are uh, basically about to become managers, team leads. So for each one of them, what advice would you give them? So maybe we can start with the people that are about to join the job market.
Yeah. Well, for all of them, I would say to always keep in mind that we should all keep learning.
Mhm.
I think it's applicable for all of those profiles.
Mhm.
For the ones who are looking for a job, I would say that what could be important is to remain open to change. My path and my story shows that the fact that I remained open to all those changes led me to a rewarding path.
Mhm. For the ones that are transitioning career, what do you recommend? Besides always keep learning.
For the ones transitioning, I would say to start building their network in the new area that they are joining, because having people with some knowledge about this area will help them to navigate in their new professional life.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the last one was the ones that are about to become basically join a leadership position, team leads, managers. What do you recommend?
We often talk about role models. I would insist on the fact that it's important to have bad and good role models, to identify both, to know what we don't want to be as a leader,
Yeah.
and also identify persons that are inspiring for us
Mhm.
and that can potentially share some knowledge.
Yeah, because also leadership is not always the same for everyone, right? So you have, so you were mentioning, like you have to find your own leadership style,
Yeah.
and sometimes like we are very influenced by the leadership styles that maybe might not suit us, right? So we need to really find what makes sense for us, what is aligned with our values, our strengths, and then find the right leadership style, right?
And one important thing for those people also is that I truly believe that you don't have to change yourself to be a leader.
Yeah, that's a good message, and that's a good final message. So thank you very much for
Thank
this
you.
conversation. Thank you very much for joining us. This is another episode of the Portuguese Women in Tech podcast series with Natixis in Portugal, and we'll be back for another episode. Thank you.
Thank you very much.